up? What's up? I hope all is well, y'all. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Make sure I got all my stuff together here. Hey, So Care. Welcome in. Welcome in. As I get my life together here. Here we go. How's everybody doing? We are live on both Instagram and YouTube. Drew a blank. Forgive me. I hope all is well with everyone. Everyone had a good weekend. Make sure to like the live, share the live with anyone that you think can benefit from it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, happy Monday. I'm glad you're here also. Thank you for joining. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about today's topic, y'all. And it was from the poll from not last Saturday, but the Saturday before. And the votes kind of went up so on this particular topic. So I'm glad that that was the case. So the topic is I'm not behind. The topic is I'm not behind. Reclaiming my pace and peace. Sometimes we do navigate life and we have struggles with life based off of the pace that we're thinking that we should be on or the timeline that we give ourselves. Hey, Hiru, welcome in, welcome in. So in that pace and in that, nice to see you too. In that pace and in that struggle, we find ourselves experiencing different things when it comes to our mental health. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to dig into it. I have 7 reminders when it comes to thinking about whether you're behind or not, right? And then 5 affirmations that you can take away from the live tonight. So I hope that these are helpful. Let me grab some water, y'all. So I already feel my voice going. I already feel it. So let me get ahead of it now. Okay, perfect. Let's jump in, y'all. Make sure I have my stuff together here. Okay, so when it comes to us feeling behind, I already kind of mentioned a little bit of this, but let me read what I put in my notes. So oftentimes we struggle in life because we are consistently striving for where we think we should be rather than gaining a full perspective of where we are. So because of that, we're experiencing things like depression, like anxiety, like low self-worth, like perfectionism, which we talked about last week. Guilt, shame, hopelessness, burnout, imposter syndrome. What else I have here? Just feeling disconnected, feelings of regret, feelings in regards to circumstances, right? Comparisons, and then external pressures. And because of all of that, that burdens us in, us trying to attempt and accomplish our goals, our purpose, and everything else. Hello, Elliot. Welcome in. Welcome in. So with that, this is why I wanted to talk about this tonight, because when we're thinking about our mental health, it is crucial to pinpoint all of the things and all of the feelings and to be aware of what we're feeling and how we're feeling. And many times it's regarding our own expectations of our timelines or where we think we should be. And because of that, it just creates this trickle effect of frustration. So this is why I put this on the list of things to talk about. So just a few things to think through before we get to the reminders. When thinking about, or when you have that feeling of, I am behind, where does that thought come from? Is that something that's coming from external factors, or is that all internal, right? What voice are you hearing when you hear those things, right? Is it something that someone told you that you're behind in your timeline, or is it something that you tell yourself? What emotions come up for you when you hear that in your mind, right? So are you feeling shame? Are you feeling guilt? Are you feeling regret? Are you feeling sadness? Are you feeling frustration? Thank you, lovely music. Appreciate you. Um, so thinking about all of those things as far as like the emotions, where the thought is coming from, and then also, can you separate the concepts of truth and perception, right? When you're thinking about your timeline, is there truth there, or is it a perceived truth, right? We got to separate the two. There may be some truth at some extent, right? You feel like you struggled in school, you should have graduated already, something along those lines, right? So there may be some truth behind it, but you'll find once you separate the truth from your perceptions, there's a lot more perceptions than there is fact or truth, okay? So yeah, those are just a few tidbits before we talk about the reminder. So where does a thought come from? What emotions are behind the thoughts? And then where can I separate truth and perception, okay? So I hope those little tips gave you a bit of awareness, at least, on what to think about and what makes the most sense for you in regards to feeling behind, okay? So I have 7 reminders that you can take away from today when you are feeling this feeling of inadequacy, the feeling of I'm falling behind or I am behind, I'm not on my timeline. This is also an extension of the perfectionism live that we did last week. So if you are struggling with perfectionism, make sure to go back to that live and watch that as well, because this all ties in together. Perfectionism is definitely linked to that feeling of I'm behind, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. So think of all of that, okay? So reminder number 1, your timeline is unique to you, right? One thing to remember, reminder number 1, your timeline is unique to you, okay? Life isn't a one size fits all. You're not late, you're living out your story, right? And you living out your story is going to look different from others. So yeah, there may be an average number of where you think you should be, or based off of the people that are in your life. Like thinking about, we may feel like we're behind because we're not married yet, or we haven't had children yet, or we haven't had the career that we expected, or we had to change careers midlife. There are so many reasons why that would come up, but understand that your timeline is unique for you, and this is a reminder that that's okay, right? Just because your timeline doesn't look like someone else's, it doesn't mean that it's invalid, that it's not correct, that it's not right, that it's not that it's out of sync, or that it's out of pace, okay? So your timeline is unique to you. I know we talked about, this might have been last week, either last week or the week before, where we talked about stories. And sometimes you have a story that may be a little bit shorter. You have other stories that may be a little bit longer. Pages may be longer. The writing may be different, right? The narration, it may be kind of all over the place, where it has one person speaking here and another character speaking here. Like it may look different from other stories, but it doesn't make the story not a good story, if that makes sense. Okay, so your timeline is unique to you. Number 2, progress isn't always loud or noticeable. Progress isn't always loud or noticeable. Okay, so those feelings of or those states of being, of awareness, reflection, healing, stillness, those are all progress. Rest, right? All of that is progress. And all of that is needed in order for you to get where you want to go or where you want to be, and for you to maintain or stay on the timeline that is your pace, that's at your rhythm, right? So understand that progress isn't always going to look like progress. It's not always going to be loud. It's not always going to be noticeable. It's not going to be always going to be something that you're going to be able to pinpoint. And just because you may have a moment of feeling a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that that is gold. That doesn't mean that it's golden. That doesn't mean that it is what it is, right? Progress looks different, and just because it doesn't look like the visual success that you were expecting doesn't mean that it's not progress or work towards the right direction. Just like we talked about last week, when we talked about our stories and how the progress in one story may be at a different pace than another story. Like, that's okay. It doesn't mean that the progress isn't happening, okay? So that is, what number was that? That was number 2. So number 3, comparison steals time. Comparison steals time. So like I mentioned a little bit earlier, when it comes to like comparisons being a factor, understand that anytime that you spend on comparing yourself to other people and other people's stories and the direction and journey and paths that other people are on, it steals time and even energy away from your own unique story and your own unique path, right? So someone else's chapter 25 doesn't make your chapter 5 invalid, right? Shifting comparison and naysayers to motivation is key in these thought processes, right? Because when we loop the comparison of like, okay, they made it, they're the same age as me, they're doing the same thing, they came from the same background. There's so many ways that we could kind of make these comparisons as far as like they came from this same space and they're further than I am. Why is that the case, right? So thinking about finding ways to shift that comparison thought or even the jealousy thoughts that we may be experiencing in comparison, and shifting that to motivation, shifting that to gas for you to move forward and for you to push forward in your own story. But the more time that you spend sitting thinking about the comparison to someone else's life or to someone else's success, the more that takes away from, again, the energy, the time that you could be spending and investing into yourself. It's just wasted time, right? And even taking it a step further and celebrating their success, right, rather than hating on their success. Because guess what? That's someone that could be a mentor. That's someone that you can learn from. That's someone that you can ask questions. If you know you have someone that you know that is meeting the success that you're looking to meet, then why not use that as a resource and tap in and say, hey, like, this is something that I'm progressing towards. Like, you know, that could be a mentor. That could be somebody that could help you, let alone us sitting in comparison and frustration, right? So that's point number 3. Comparison steals your time. Number 4, or reminder number 4, you've survived things others didn't necessarily see, right? What you've been through has shaped your pace. Honor those hard times with gratitude and make sure to learn the lesson, right? So the things that we survived, they're the most beneficial when we actually learn the lesson, right? But we spend so much time on just the fact that we survived, and we spend so much time on harping on what we should have done or what we could have done, versus just operating in the space of, even though this happened, let me make sure I learn the lesson. Let me make sure that I take from this the wisdom and understanding and awareness that I need for myself to make my next steps count, right? So again, I know we talked about this often as far as like shifting our mindset and changing and challenging our thoughts. That's really what this is. We have to jump in and challenge our thoughts, challenge the internal conflicts that we're having, and ensuring that we're bringing it back to gratitude, we're bringing it back to growth, we're bringing it back to healing, and we're bringing it back to restoration, transformation, right? So really taking the time to understand that you survived these things. You are a 100% success rate of you surviving your worst days, right? You have survived them. That's the biggest point at the end of the day. So we already know that you're a survivor. You already know that you can get through it. We already know that you're resilient, that you can move past things, right? We already know that. The part that's the most important is learning the lesson. What is the lesson that I need to learn in this particular situation? What can I gain from this? How can I repurpose this? How can this help somebody else, right? Sorry, y'all. I feel my voice has been janky lately. Okay. So that's really number 4. What the most important piece to number 4 is: learn the lesson. Number 5, there is power in delay. Okay? There is power in delay. Your delays teach you something that direct paths to something cannot, right? So failures, mistakes, and closed doors often are a redirection to the right path. So sometimes we may veer off because of our circumstances, because of the fact that we had situational issues. We may have had situations that's happened that have taken us off our path. And sometimes the delays that we have are associated with us moving back on and getting back on pace of where we're supposed to be. So just because we have a delay, hello, welcome in. Just because we have a delay, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad thing. Happy birthday! Welcome in. I'm glad that you joined us today on your birthday. Happy birthday. So when it comes to those failures, those mistakes, and closed doors, understand that sometimes it's redirection. A lot of times it's redirection, right? It's redirection to get us on a pace that we're supposed to be, or get us into a place that we're supposed to be, right? And then also, it's an understanding of acceptance of maybe you're just not you're not going in the direction that you thought that you should be going, right? And maybe that redirection is just going to lead you more so to purpose. It's going to lead you more so to that divine journey. And sometimes those things just have to happen, and that's okay, right? We have to understand that our inconveniences in life are going to happen, right? I think we have this depiction of life that there's not going to be any uncertainty, that there's not going to be any inconveniences. And that's just not the case. Life is full of inconveniences, redirections, pivots, choices, decisions. It's full of all of that. And so we have to understand that in that we have to be able to learn from those situations and understand things are happening a certain way because it has to happen that way, right? Now, granted, can we make bad choices? Yeah. Can we make bad decisions? Can we go in the wrong directions? Can we veer off here and there? Yes, of course, that happens. But many times when there are things that are happening outside of our control, it's because it's directing us somewhere. It's directing us to a choice. It's directing us to a new situation. It's directing us to a new season. It's directing us to a new path, right? So keep that in mind. So that was number 5. There is power in delay. And then number 6, purpose has no expiration date. Purpose has no expiration date. It's never too late to begin again. And purpose may look different based on the season of life that you're in, right? So just because the purpose that you thought you had or that you do have looks different in a particular season doesn't necessarily mean that you're not fulfilling a purpose. It just means that it looks different and has a different function for the season that you're in, right? And just because it doesn't look ideal or it doesn't look the way that you intended or it's not going at the pace that you intended doesn't mean that it's not fruitful, and it doesn't mean that it's not valid and that it's not needed, right? So understand that purpose has no expiration, that it can change, that it can alter, that it can evolve and grow. And the way that it looks may not be ideal, but it doesn't mean that it's not a benefit. It doesn't mean that it's not growth, and it doesn't mean that it's not healing. Okay? So that was number 6. Purpose has no expiration date. And number 7, which is the last one before we go into our affirmations, is that peace is a pace too, right? So having peace and having some form of rest is also on pace, okay? Slowing down to reconnect with yourself isn't falling behind, it's coming home. Rest is a part of the timeline. Rest is a part of the journey. Rest is a part of the path, right? And just because you need rest, just because you have to disconnect, just because you need to be a little bit still for a while, it doesn't mean that it's slowing down your pace. That can be a form of delay because of the fact that things have to move into the perfect puzzle before you're able to have everything come into fruition, right? So peace is on pace too. It was a lot of peace. Peace is on pace too, right? Slowing down to reconnect with yourself isn't falling behind, okay? So keep that in mind. That was the 7 reminders on that feeling of feeling like you're behind. These are 7 reminders that you can state back to yourself to just keep you sane, y'all. I know it's a lot going on. I know we're in a state of being that is just feels weird. Okay, let's be honest. It feels weird. It's off. It don't feel right. So I get it, right? And we think about things like the pandemic. We think about things like where we are right now in the administration. We feel like we're taking a couple of steps forward and taking 5 steps back. We feel like we're taking 6 steps forward and then we're taking 9 steps back. I know it can feel that way, right? But we have to understand that our timeline is going to look different, our pace is going to look different, and that's okay. Just stay on the course for your unique pace, okay? So number 1, just to kind of quick do a reminder or recap. Number 1 was your timeline is unique to you. Number 2, progress isn't always loud or noticeable. Number 3, comparison steals your time. Number 4, you've survived things others didn't see. Number 5, there is power in delay. Number 6, purpose has no expiration date. And number 7, peace is on pace too. Okay? Now, affirmations. I have 5 affirmations that you can take away from our live. I hope that these are helpful. Hi, Dr. Quinn, welcome in. I hope that these were helpful. I hope this brings something additional that you can take away in addition to the reminders that I've given. And feel free to use the affirmations however you wish to. So if you want to write them down, you want to put them on sticky notes, you want to recite them, if you want to change the language, please do. However you feel will be the most helpful, okay? Affirmation number 1. Growth can be present in stillness, and I trust what's unfolding within me. Growth can be present in stillness, and I trust what's unfolding within me. Growth can be present in stillness, and I trust what's unfolding within me. So this is just goes back to the reminder of stillness, peace, rest is all on pace, okay? And it's a part of your growth. You need to rest. Your body, when your body rests, whether it's physical rest, mental rest, when your body gets that rest, it's able to restore itself, it's able to repair itself, it's able to build itself back up in order for it to continue. So if you're progressing through life and you're not resting, you're operating on E, right? And it's not just, rest isn't just sleep, even though that's a big piece of it. But rest is also resting your mind, right? It's resting your soul, resting your spirit, giving yourself stillness. Sometimes even just thinking about social media and just all of the things that we have going on. We got advertisements wherever we go. We're driving. We're doing multiple things at one time. When we're driving, we're working, but then we're multitasking. Then we're watching TV, but then we're doing this. Like we're consistently going. Just resting your mind in itself is growth, and it can help you grow. Right? Your brain is only, I forget what the actual number is, but your brain is only able to take in but so much information in a day. And sometimes we overload that to the point where it shifts and even can damage, our nervous systems. It can damage, a lot of different things internally, our organs. So just keep that in mind. Rest is important, and rest is on pace, and that stillness is needed. It's not a choice, it's a requirement, right? It's something that your body needs daily. Okay, so that was number one. Growth can be present in stillness, and I trust what's unfolding within me. Number two, I can celebrate others without questioning my journey. I can celebrate others without questioning my journey. I can celebrate others without questioning my journey. Just because you see someone else successful, that doesn't mean that you can also be successful. And I think sometimes we get ourselves in a state of mind that that's the case, and that's not the case. Celebrate others, right? And the more that you celebrate others, you'll be surprised at what comes from that, right? It could be connections, it could be networking, it could be mentorship, it could be a learning, you can learn from their mistakes. I love, going back and watching people who are successful in the places and states that I want to be in, and hearing their story. Because their story is something that I can learn from, especially if that's somewhere that I'm looking or trying to go, right? So taking the time to celebrate others without questioning you, or not without questioning your timeline. Just because they have some sort of success doesn't mean that you can't, doesn't mean that you have to harp on the comparison. Celebrate them. And if it's someone that is close to you that you can speak to and have conversations with, have those conversations. If they're willing, if they're open to it. Some people ain't open, and that's fine. That's okay too, right? But if they're open, that's a mentor, right? If I'm inspired by somebody, I want them to mentor me, not celebrate them. You know what I mean? So that was number two. I can celebrate others without questioning my journey. Number three, nothing is wasted on my path. I gather wisdom with every step. Nothing is wasted on my path. I gather wisdom with every step. Nothing is wasted on my path. I gather wisdom with every step. This goes back to the reminder of learning from our mistakes, learning from our failures, learning from those closed doors, right? If you have a failure, you have a mistake, you have a closed door, the best thing you can do with that is to learn the lesson, because you don't want to have to go through that mistake or that failure again, right? So the best thing you can do is to learn the lesson, to not just prevent failures and mistakes before, but also to catapult you into the next state or to the next season of life. Okay? Nothing is wasted on my path. I gather wisdom with every step. So that was number three. Number four, I am right on time for the life meant for me. I am right on time for the life meant for me. I am right on time for the life meant for me, right? This goes back to the story concept. We're talking about our own story. We're all in our own main character within our own story, right? And when it comes to the pace of a story, it's happening for a reason, because the writer has created this. Usually when I heard about people writing, they always think of the end first before they think of the beginning, right? And that's where purpose comes from, right? Thinking about the end. Sometimes we have our everything on the end, but we don't think about all of that in the middle, right? So if we have our end goal, if we have what that end is going to look like, all we have to do is follow the pace to get there, right? So nothing is wasted. Oh no, that was I am right on time for the life meant for me, right? And then lastly, number five, I move with intention, not pressure of comparison. I move with intention, not pressure of comparison. I move with intention, not the pressure of comparison. Sometimes we get in these modes, y'all, of, oh, well, they got this success. Well, let's have them watch me get the success. And it comes from an ill place, right? Move with intention. Move at your pace and move with what's needed for you, right? I mentioned earlier, you can't look at someone's chapter 25 and think that your chapter 5 is invalid. You don't know what that person needed to do to get there. You don't know, even if it's immoral, you don't know what they had to do to get there. And it may not, and you don't know what their life looks like behind that. You don't know if they're happy. You don't know if they actually have peace. You don't know if they actually have joy. You don't know, right? So comparison without the full picture of what that person is living and what that person has is not ideal. It's not smart to do it that way, right? Move with intention. Move within and build your own motivation internally. Move and build your own intentions and move with purpose in that way versus you pressuring yourself from external comparison. Because what does that do? That may create burnout. That may even take you off of your path or your journey. That can build sadness and depression and anxiety because you're putting on pressure on yourself based off of a half of a story. You don't know that person's whole story, right? So don't allow your comparisons to, I'm not going to say that don't let it be your motivation, but don't let that be your entire intention, because that's fueled by water, not gas, okay? And what happens when you put water in your car, okay? I mean, I'm just saying, it's gonna break down. Okay, so so just keep all of that in mind, y'all. I hope this is helpful. I'll go back to the top in affirmations. Number 1 was growth can be present in stillness and trust, and I trust what's unfolding within me. Number 2, I can celebrate others without questioning my journey. Number 3, nothing is wasted on my path. I gather wisdom with every step. Number 4, I am right on time for the life meant for me. And then number 5, I move with intention, not the pressure of comparison. Y'all, I hope this was helpful. Again, we went through the seven reminders when you're feeling like you're behind, 5 affirmations to match those. I hope and pray that this is giving you some insight, that this is giving you some motivation. I hope this is giving you some inspiration. And definitely let me know in the comments. I always want to hear back of like where you guys are going with this, how this is helping, what your next steps are based off of what we talked about. So please let me know in the comments. This video will be posted so that way you can watch the playback. And if there's any questions, you can always drop those in the comments too. If you want to know more about Haven Inspired, I did not introduce myself at the top of the live. My bad, y'all. If this is your first time, my name is Debbie. I'm a certified mindfulness coach. This channel is all things mental health. We have meditations posted weekly, and then the weekly live on a topic that is voted on every Saturday or every other Saturday. It depends on what's voted on. So come back and watch the next live next week. We will be talking about, actually we don't have a topic for next week, so I'll be posting a new poll on Saturday. But yeah, if you want to hear more, feel free to go to haveninspired.com and check out my website, and then sign up for the newsletter for updates on lives and what I got going on. But until next time, y'all all have a great rest of your night. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you all soon.